Good afternoon. It has come to my attention that the latest edition of Pomfret's favorite opinion rag, co edited conveniently by our Democrat First Selectman, has once again published personal attacks against me. Conflict of interest? She doesn't seem to think so. Apparently, freedom of speech now includes spreading biased misinformation. A Mr. Charlie Tracy wrote a letter accusing me recently of posting about a move to Florida and questioning my commitment to my community. I have to say, I'm touched that someone who has never met me, spoken to me, or known anything about me believes they have special insight into my personal life and my future plans. Here are the facts. My family owns three properties here in Connecticut as well as New Hampshire. We have no plans to buy in Florida anytime soon. In fact, one of those properties recently suffered a major structure fire and hasn't even entered the rebuild phase. So, according to Mr. Tracy's logic, we just pack up and move 24 hours away from that property, far from an airport. That's not just wrong, it's absurd. Not that it's any business of Charles or Ms. Kristen Sapp, another total stranger of mine, that took the time out of her valuable day to write a letter to the editor titled, "She's Running and She's Moving." Sorry to inform you, but there are a lot of things that must happen to make a move, and researching the schools and markets in Florida isn't the same thing as me moving. I work and invest in real estate and have always told my clients to invest in places with great schools. I have kids who are college aged, one who is deciding on what school he wanted to go to, and Florida was one of the discussions back in March. But he then committed to Rochester Institute of Technology in New York back in May, and we just finished moving him in last week. So, college in Florida, out of the picture. And I am so glad that commitment was brought into question. I question how committed board members are to our community who have not been present with volunteerism at our school events. I was glad to hear they stepped it up after I called this out in a previous video, but I do question the intent behind that when ice cream socials were used to pass out pamphlets that I never saw at the two ice cream socials we attended for our children in the previous years. And on top of that, to hear they were also talking about running in the election this November at the event, I felt that was a little bit tacky, but I guess I'll just be glad that they're at least taking the steps to be more transparent about meetings and budget with the incoming parents during this election year. It is no secret that I have been extremely involved. Writing a letter to the editor about getting involved with board meetings because you had issues should not be a badge of honor or experience. It does not demonstrate a willingness to step up and help. Coming out to help because you can and you want to for the kids, teachers, and our community should speak for itself. So, if we are comparing in this department, I honestly think there is no comparison at all. I don't just show up when there are problems, I show up for our kids, period. For the record, my children all attended the same school district from preschool through high school. That was intentional because I believe in community and stability for kids, something I didn't have growing up. Anyone who actually knows me knows this. Lastly, I want to end by making note of the fact that most, but not all, of the Board of Ed was welcoming and friendly last night when I attended the meeting, something that seems to be a common theme from other parents that I've heard show up at meetings in the past. Some members would not even look at me despite my efforts to make eye contact and smile at each and every one of them. A few of those members refusing to acknowledge me are up for re-election. Tell me, how are you unable to put our differences aside and treat even those you don't agree with respect and decency, able to represent the best interest of all of our kids, not just the ones you agree with? This is a real problem, in my opinion. I can work well with all kinds of people. My motto has always been you treat others as you'd like to be treated. You start with respect, you are friendly, and you are welcoming. But if you are on the board and you cannot even acknowledge a fellow parent in the school district you are seeking re-election to represent, that speaks volumes on your character. I suggest you go back and talk to your friends, Kristen and Charles, and come up with a better way to improve our community rather than wasting time trying to create drama. Do better. I'm Kathleen Sposato. I'm running for the Pomfret Board of Education to represent every parent, every child, and every taxpayer, not just the ones who agree with me. Thanks for watching and have a great day.